The tour groups are filtering out now. I think the tour is meant to be from 11 until 11:45. It's currently 20 to 12. And so people are in the process of putting back on their shoes back on and leaving. And I'm going to hold on as long as I can. Because there isn't a tour at 12, of course, because the faithful will be coming for noon prayers very soon. So I'm going to try and hold on just a few seconds past the last person without offending anyone, of course. This place is glorious. Absolutely glorious. I mentioned in Rabat at the Hassan Tower how Caliph Al-Mansur had died and his intended great mosque complex remained uncompleted and remains uncompleted to this day. It's just a ruin. But it's kind of edifying, if you'll pardon the pun, to know that very nearly 1,000 years later, his dream was realized, albeit in a different way. Ooh, you can see light between the cracks. Right, just a handful of people left now. And it has to be said, man, I am a great believer in Darwin and science and so forth, but places like this do affect you nonetheless. I mean, I've been to holy places and lost cities and that sort of thing all over the world. And sex and love aside, being all but alone in a place of this magnitude is about as close as I get to paradise. Yeah. Alhamdulillah, it is done. Incredible. Right, with Hassan II behind me, I am now hiking it back to my hostel. Well, I don't have to hike it too much, you understand. I've got 45 minutes and it's a half an hour walk at my normal pace, so I can amble back, grab myself some tea. So, that young man there just accosted me to sell me tissues. Now, one brief word, I'm going to go into this in greater detail another time, but when you see people selling tissues on the streets, it's always wise to buy them, because for one thing, they're 2 dirhams, which is all of 20 pence. Also, especially in the Medina, when you see a mother with a child on her back, these are people who can't afford a stall or the stock to fill the stall, and so they are one rank down from those who own a stall. They dream of having a stall one day, and 20 pence is no small shakes. The other aspect is, so many times I have run across a lavatory, sometimes you can barely call it that, where of course there's no paper, and having 2 or 3 of these in your bag is a godsend. So buy a few, doesn't hurt. So I'm kind of feeling my way back. I have a little bit of time, and this street is a tradesman's street. If you look on my 9 o'clock here, you'll see essentially shanty town / tradesmen's places. Poor tradies who are tinkers and carpenters, mechanics. The kind of place where you can find the kind of mechanic who fixes things in real time. Like ahead here. Like once in Cambodia, I had a moped to go out to Angkor, and I was running along, and suddenly a rock thankfully didn't hit my foot. It hit my foot peg and snapped it clean off. So I went to a place like that, and in 5 minutes, for about 25 pence, the guy welded it back on for me, and I took it back to the rental place. I didn't even blink. Yeah, good place. The Medina's just up ahead. This is, if you like, a back street from the highway, as it were. There's a guy stuffing mattresses over here. So yeah, call it Tradesman Street. Yeah. Anyway, so in case it's not absolutely obvious, I have had the best time doing that. And I think what I'm going to do, I have 3 cigars in my little humidor envelope. So I think what I'm going to do is make myself a flask of tea. Sober October, of course. Sober October, dry February, rather. And I'm going to go back out there. It's only a half an hour walk to Hassan II Mosque from the Medina. And I imagine I'm going to go and sit there on the shores of the Atlantic at sunset, with sunset going past that mosque, and have a cigar and some tea. Yeah. I might take my time walking there, go back along that tradesman street, maybe strike up a conversation. Yeah. Evening, friends. So I am enjoying the evening sun on my way to the coast to sit down and have a cigar next to the sea. Behind me is Rick's Cafe. It has been here 20 years, but it has absolutely nothing to do with Casablanca apart from the name. For those uninitiated, Casablanca, 1942 film with Humphrey Bogart, Ingrid Bergman, Claude Rains, and Peter Lorre, and it's one of the best films of all time. I watched it, I downloaded it and watched it my second night here. Felt like I should. But Rick's Cafe Americain is the major location for that film. Now, Rick's Cafe here has been going 20 years, but it has nothing to do with the movie apart from the name. because Casablanca, the movie, was shot at Pinewood Studios, I believe. They didn't come here because it was 1942, and the actual events in the film, i.e. that you had Free France, as it were, being pressured by the Nazis who occupied the main part of France. So it wasn't a particularly safe place for an American film shoot. Anyway. Friends, so sunset. My last night in Casablanca. I'm off to Marrakesh tomorrow. I love Marrakesh. It's tomorrow afternoon. And I'm going to see the sea again in Agadir, which is in about like a week. But I hate saying goodbye to the sea. It's a beautiful evening, and there are certainly worse places to be. Anyway, as always, if you like what I do and how I'm doing it, please do like and subscribe. Take care.
حي على الفلاح.